The pick is in.
With the 19th pick, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers select Emeka Egbuka, the wide receiver out of Ohio State. So let's bring in Locked On Bucs host James Yarko to break down the Bucs selection. Now, James, the Bucs have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Now it seems like it might be an embarrassment of riches, but were you surprised that they went out and got another receiver?
Stunned. Absolutely stunned. I was at a loss for words. Because, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then Jalen McMillan, the third-round pick from last year, who, along with Jamar Chase, had the most touchdowns of any receiver in the NFL over the last 5 weeks of the season. And, the more I thought about it, the more it was like, okay, Todd Bowles has been telling us since February that this was going to happen. He was asked by the media, what positions are you looking at the combine? Without hesitation, he said receivers. He was asked again, about drafting offense. And he said, we're not going to sacrifice offensive talent for defensive needs. And of course, we've all thought edge rusher, cornerback, safety, linebacker. And here they come with Emeka Egbuka at pick 19. And you think about all the great receivers in Ohio State history, Joey Galloway and Santonio Holmes, Marvin Harrison Jr., Chris Olave, all these names. Emeka Egbuka is the school's all-time leading receiver, and he just got added to this offense that was already top 5 in the NFL in passing and rushing offenses. So this is actually kind of scary for a lot of teams that are going to have to go up against this Buccaneers offense.
Yeah, in fact, scary for a team like the one I cover here in Atlanta with the Atlanta Falcons. Like the Bucs were already the scariest with how Chris has torched them over the years. So imagine getting this guy to kind of add to the fold. And to your point, already having McMillan in the fold there as well. And you kind of mentioned some of it, James, but I want to go back to some of the things that you see just in terms of maybe what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers saw in Egbuka that said, hey, this guy has so much that he brings to the table. What are some of his advantages?
Well, first and foremost, one of the things that he does better than I think probably any receiver in that Buck or any receiver in the room for the Bucs is tracking the deep ball. And that's something that they've been lacking over the last couple of years. Mike Evans is good at the deep ball. Chris Godwin is all right. McMillan is all right, but they've been missing that connection since Baker Mayfield joined the team. And Egbuka is one of the best in college football at doing exactly that. And then just his ability to manipulate defenders to find himself open on some of these routes. Like his footwork is next level. His route running is incredibly refined. He brings a little bit of speed, a 4.4 840 isn't, it's not top end speed, but it is some speed that the Bucs are lacking a little bit. So when Jason Light was talking about it, it's like, this guy is a Chris Godwin clone. And when you have a clone of a player who Tom Brady had said had the best hands of any receiver he ever played with, why would you not want to bring that guy into the fold to not only help in the present, but be the future of this organization at the receiver position?
Yeah, you got to think that wide receivers coach Brian McClendon must be salivating right about now. But in addition to that, all of the good things that you just mentioned rather about him, what do you see as maybe some of those areas where he can be developed more, and that's something that Brian McClendon can actually work with? And again, to your point, James, he's got those veterans in Mike Evans and in Chris Godwin to be able to help him to move along.
He does need to get a little bit better about gaining separation out of his breaks. He's not quite as crisp as you would want him to be. And that's going to come with coaching and development and learning from, the veteran receivers there, but it's also going to come with playing time. And I think that's kind of where we're going to be hampered the most watching Egbuka this year is where is he going to find the playing time when he's walking in as the wide receiver 4? I don't think he's going to stay the wide receiver 4 for very long, and he's going to get plenty of opportunities. This is a guy that just fits perfectly into what new offensive coordinator Josh Broussard is going to want to do with the offense, run 4 receiver sets, spread the defense out, and that's going to allow Bucky Irving out of the backfield to do Bucky Irving things. So just top to bottom, this was a really great pick, and there's no pressure on him to be the guy right out of the gate, like his teammate Marvin Harrison Jr. was with Arizona last year as a top 5 pick. He can kind of absorb and relax a little bit and learn from a first ballot Hall of Famer in Mike Evans and learn from Chris Godwin, and even kind of talk to Jalen about the rookie struggles that he had and what caused him to go on that run late in the year. So this is the perfect spot for him. It really is a great pick for the Bucs. As surprising as it was, it's going to make this offense so much more dangerous.
Indeed. Appreciate the time, James, for continuing coverage of the Buccaneers. Subscribe to Locked On Buccaneers wherever you get your podcast. For more on Emeka Egbuka, let's hear from Locked On Buckeyes host Jay Stevens, who spent a lot of time covering Egbuka up close.
Emeka Egbuka runs his routes with the correct tempo and pace to excel in the National Football League. What is up, guys? My name is Jay Stevens, the host of Locked On Buckeyes. And Emeka Egbuka, standing at 6'1", 202 pounds, has the size and the speed to excel at either playing on the outside as a receiver or playing in the slot. Now, he's primarily going to be a slot, but he can be a utility player. Whatever the team needs from him, he can make that thing happen. Emeka Egbuka figures out the right way and time to manipulate the coverage. He is great at the line of scrimmage, and you can see time and time again on the film, he wins routes at the line of scrimmage. He beats the defender, and there's no way you can catch up with him. But another thing for Egbuka that I love about him so much is his ability to not shy away from run blocking. He is an elite run blocking wide receiver, which makes him an ideal candidate for any team at the next level. It's going to be fun to watch him play in the NFL.